Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the invitation from the organization, and let me virtually participate in the IAIC conference 2022. And today I'm going to share with you the equity and efficiency of agriculture development from intellectual property rights. My presentation can be classified into 4 sessions. In the very beginning, I will share with you the importance of intangible assets, or we can say the intellectual property, to the global economy. Secondly, I will share with you the IP strategy from industry perspective, like the company level, how to use the patent to commercialize, how to use the outcome of intellectual property to stay ahead of competition. Thirdly, I will share with you guys 2 real examples. One is about Agra Technologies, another one is pomelo seeds. The least but not least of my presentation today is to share with you guys how to find a balance between equity and efficiency, and the role of IP in these 2 areas. Right. So firstly, the intangible asset, as can be seen from this diagram, you can see from here in the 1975, only 17% of the corporate value arises from the intangible asset. However, over 45 years later, as can be seen from here in the year of 2020s, as can be seen from here, 90% of the corporate value actually from the intangible asset, which is the intellectual property. Needless to say, it means how to protect your intangible assets is an indispensable role on how to growth of your corporate, how to fight against, or we can say protect your territory of the intellectual property. Let's move on to the next one. Although we have been emphasizing the importance of intellectual property for such a long time, however, we have to admit that the majority of the countries are still play a role as IP importers. Only a limited number of countries which can generate revenue from the intellectual property. So basically, US, European countries such as Germany and Japan and the other, let's say France, are the major countries actually they can generate revenue from the intellectual property. However, for the majority of the Asia countries like Korea, China, even in ASEAN, actually we are IP importers, which means that every year those countries have to contribute or have to pay a lot of royalties to those countries which has a huge amount of IP portfolios. So that's the reason why that, as can be seen from here, one of the real example, quite an effective example, is the Monsanto, right? Monsanto is the world's largest seeds company. So actually, the Monsanto have a huge amount of patent portfolio from the research all the way to commercialization. So they have quite a very strong portfolio to protect their technology, to protect the output of their research. So that's the reason why that Monsanto can sustainably or continuously allocate a lot of research fundings generation by generation to provide a better version of seeds. So this is from one hand. But on the other hand, there will be also a lot of criticize on the IP system, especially in the agricultural industry. Why? This is because the top 5 or top 3 or top 5 agricultural companies is almost like monopolize almost over 80% of the seeds market. Means that the new players is very, very difficult to enter the market unless those companies have a very strong patent portfolios. So when it comes to the patent portfolios, we have to talk about the IP management. So IP management actually occupies 3 perspectives we need to take into considerations. The first one is technology perspective, And second one will be legal perspective. Should we file for patent? Should we file for trademark? Or even we protect it as a trade secret instead of disclosing everything to the market? And the least but not least is how to integrate the strengths of technology and the legal perspective to commercialize our product, to commercialize our technology to get the return of it, just like the Monsanto or any other big agricultural companies as well. So actually, there will be three markets we need to take into considerations when it comes to the IP commercialization or to generate the revenue out of the patent. So the first one is the innovation market. Needless to say, innovation is the core of the, it's actually the core product, right? Without innovation, without product, how would we able to generate revenue? How would you able to make this work better? On the other hand, we have a commercial market, right? So in a traditional period of time, we have an innovation. The second thing is whether we can apply this information into the product market directly. However, due to the emergence of the IP market, when it comes to the innovation, the second step will be, shall we create or we ring-fence a strong patent portfolio before introducing this technology, before introducing this agricultural product into the real market? Why we say that? This is because if we don't have a strong patent or IP protection, what will happen if your seeds, your agricultural product is very well received in the market? Intuitively, we will understand that actually the copycat products will be coming out very quickly, and you can do nothing about it. Unless you have a patent, at least you can against the copycat, against the imitators through your patent protection. So think about it, what's the role of IP assets and in the market transformation? So in the original meaning of the original goal of the intellectual property, actually is an infringement gatekeeper. Secondly, we emerged and the IP actually play a multiple role, not only to protect myself, but also try to influence, to play a more critical or a vital role in the value chain. And the last but not least is to have an emergence of the IP market. Means that IP becomes an asset which can be commercialized, can be tradable, can be a securitization, and become a standalone business market, right? So that's the reason why in the very beginning, when the role of IP as an infringement gatekeeper, we have the right to make, use, sell, offer for sale, and import, try to protect our own territory, right? So this is actually the first goal, that the outcome of the intellectual property. However, if we think one step further, we will see that actually we can use this growth patent, the 5 rights given to the patent owner, to influence or to, we can use a better term, is to control over the supply chain. What does it mean? It means that I can give company A the right to make, but I can give another company a right to sell. So this is legal, okay? This is part of the 5 rights assigned to the patent owner. By doing so, we can use these 5 rights and to build up our own ecosystem or our own supply chain. Okay, so that's the reason why that we can have a supply chain control. Yeah, so it's like a carrot and a stick. So if they say we work together very well, then it's become a partners, we'll give you the carrot. However, on the other hand, if you would like to stay alone, you don't want to collaborate with me, then you have to think twice to see whether you have strong patent or strong IP enough to protect yourself. Otherwise, I will use those 5 rights, try to fight against those parties, and try to get an injunction. All right. And the least but not least is actually the non-practicing entities, like the patent trolls. Means that this group of entity, they don't practice the patent by themselves. All right. but they know who is the potential user, who is the potential supplier. So they will try to do the matchmaking, and to lend the technology user to get the right technology, and then the technology provider, or we can say the supplier, to get their patent as well. All right, so this is actually the transformation of the IP system, and even we can say the in other words, the transformation of the IP market. So what are the three objectives of IP? In short, the direct objective of IP is to do the IP protection, just like the infringement gatekeeper I've mentioned previously. The second portion is actually to facilitate, to encourage more and more innovation. Why? As long as the outcome of the innovation can be protected by law, can be protected by intellectual property, then it gives more motivation for the inventor, for the investor, even for the innovator to spend more time and effort to create a better solution, to provide a better technology, right? But the core technology, the core objective of the IP is still to help the domestic industry, all right? So that's the reason why no matter how strong the IP protection is, how advanced the level of IP awareness, the most important thing is to have a domestic industry. As long as the protection of IP can benefit local domestic industry, then IP is play a very good role for the nationwide. So there will be another two case studies I would like to share with you guys. The first one actually is the Agra Technologies. So for the Agra Technology, actually is developed by the French National Institute for Agricultural Research in the mid-1990s. Okay, so actually Agra is a non-biotech method for producing high-yielding hybrids of oilseed rape. Okay, so actually this technology is considered as quite fundamental and quite a core technology, was introduced, or we can say invented, by the French National Institute. So in the course of commercialization, right, the second thought is after we have innovation, actually this Agra technology, the second thought will be how to commercialize it, how to use the IP to protect my rights, but at the same time, I can have more and more people to use it. So that's the reason why that Agra has INRAS has adopted a non-exclusive license as their commercialization strategy instead of an exclusive license. Why? Because in view of INRAS perspective, was able to recoup its development cost, which amounted to over 5 million euro, staying involved in the future development. As a licensee, the six companies were able to avoid the cost associated with developing the technology from scratch by taking a license from INRA. So actually, this is a win-win situation. Why? Because if we talk about it, when it comes to basic research, fundamental research, usually it takes time. Secondly, it costs a lot of money. Thirdly, the future of the commercial value is uncertain. So due to these three uncertainties, usually most of the company will not willing to spend too much time and effort to invest. So that's the reason why INRA, as considered as a government agency, plays a role as a pioneer to do this kind of development and research. And also the goal of the Government Research Institute is not purely for revenue generation. They would like more and more people can benefit it. So that's the reason why from INRA's perspective, the main purpose is just to cover the research and development cost, right? And secondly, to have more and more farmers, all the six companies can benefit it, instead of just have exclusive license and just benefit one or two companies. So the philosophy of INRA is decided to have a non-exclusive license. As can be seen from here, under INRA's patent licensing agreement, a 5% royalty was payable on revenue generated up to 2011 and 1% up to 2016. And also can be seen from the terms in the Agra. I use the patent database, try to find a relationship among Agra and other technologies and how to apply Agra in technology in other perspective or the fields as well. So as can be seen from here, Agra have a quite close relationship with sterile and other technical areas. Means what does it mean? It means the producer, seed producer, or the farmer not only have the Agra technology, but also need to collaborate or need to integrate with other technology, to get a better outcome of these technologies. So it's actually the Agra is not a staying-alone technologies. So that's the reason why if INRA adopt exclusive license, what will happen, right? In the very beginning, I share with you, right? If Agra is not a standalone technology, so they have to collaborate with others. But if you just only exclusive license, only one or two, or a limited company can approach this, can use this technology, it will to some extent limit the future development or the future growth of this technology. So let's only one party serving the market would produce a stronger incentive. Yeah, so this is the bright side of the house for exclusive license. So in short term, such approach may result in a lower uptake of the technology by farmers, and as a consequence, reduce immediate benefits to them and consumers. However, in the longer term, such an approach could encourage innovation because the higher price charged by licensees could be expected to prompt competitors to develop their own hybrid oilseed rape technology. So that's the reason why that's the pros and cons when it comes to exclusive license and vice versa, right? When it comes to non-exclusive license, it also comes with its own pros and cons. So let's think about it. So what's the objective of the INRA? Plays a very important role on that. Think about it. If today this Agra technology was developed by a private company, maybe the licensing model is different. Let me adopt different approach. Because from private company perspective, it may not be a good technology, it may not a good strategy to expect and to create their own competitors. But however, from government perspective, actually would like to more and more people to take this technology and can develop based on my fundamental technology, try to apply to as many fields to come up with as many applications as possible. So actually, this is the fundamental difference between the private and the public sectors. So another situation, if there's no IP right, no incentives, while benefits to farmers, consumers, and other downstream users will increase, and the price might be lower due to greater competition, the incentive for producers to innovate will be also eliminated. Okay, so optimal IPR use depends on the technology itself as well as on market conditions. Why we think about it, if let's say there's no IP rights, what's the incentives for the innovator to come up with a new technology, right? This is the one. Second thing is, we all know that the return of the R&D is very, very low, right? So maybe only 10% of the new technology can succeed in the very beginning. So it means that another 90% of the R&D projects usually failed. So how to shift those costs to a successful product? It's like, so no IP is very, very difficult to encourage the talented people, the big companies to invest, to provide more resources on it. So the choice of IP strategy depends on the intended goal, and it's a question of short-term versus long-term benefits. Market conditions and the need to manage the risk associated with research and development plays a role. So in short, this is a typical question. The typical answer is, how are we able to come up with the best IP policy or the IP strategy? I always say that it depends. It depends on the conditions you are involved. It depends on the market power you have. It may cost different strategies. So in short, there's no one-size-fits-all solution for everyone. It depends on from time to time, even maybe your strategy at this point of time is correct. But when your company shifts to second stage, the situation may be different. Another case is the pomelo peels and then the pomelo seeds. Actually, we can add the powders. We can become an edible powder, so we can remove the bitter taste, improve the thickness. Then we can have other use of it. So this is considered as quite a typical thing, is because the company adopted a non-exclusive license. They try to sign a contract, use this remove the bitter taste, the taste portfolio, and the thickness portfolio, try to license out as much as possible. So that's the reason why the normal food product company to get the license from this company, the dietary, the medical part, medical related company also get the license from this company to use this strategy, to use this technology, try to develop the new products. So that's the reason why that the second case study I share with you is actually, it really depends whether you want to adopt the non-exclusive license and exclusive license. And also, the outcome of the agricultural research, they use patent as a weapon or use IP as a protection tools, actually can help the innovator to benefit from the process of the innovation. So this is very, very important. And the last but not the least of my presentation today is, when it comes to intellectual property, we think from a broader view, or a macro view of it. We have to try to find a balance between equity and efficiency. So for some way, in the very beginning, we try to more focus on the efficiency. So we try to make the pie bigger. But when the pie becomes bigger and bigger, how to slice the pie, how to redistribute it, is another issue. So the importance of the equity may take over the importance of efficiency from time to time, and vice versa. All right. So use the Agra as an example. Maybe in the very beginning, it's not a very effective way to commercialize, because it's considered as a non-exclusive license. But the main purpose is that we have to focus on equity. We let everybody have the opportunity to use this technology. And then for those who can successfully adopt this technology, then they can earn more money out of it, then will generate its own efficiency. So that's the reason why the priority of equity and the efficiency may change over time and from time to time. It also applies to the developing countries and the developed countries. For developing countries, they more inclined to have a not stronger IP protection, right? But for the developed countries, the situation is totally different. Actually, they prefer a stronger patent protection, which can benefit them. All right. So in the end of my sharing session today is also in the agriculture industry, and the output of intellectual property actually can benefit the research and the development. But at the same time, we also need to pay attention to aware that how to find a balance between equity and the efficiency is also the utmost issues we need to take into consideration. So from company perspective, after we are making money, the CSR, right, the corporate social responsibility, also is very, very important. We cannot ignore it, because we earn the money from the society and we contribute back the results of our efficiency to the society, to make more and more people can benefit from the outcome of the intellectual property and make this work better. Okay, so this is my presentation today, and thanks for your listening.